Here's one from our email from John. John asks, can I use points to book travel for someone else? Katie, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, good question. So the short answer is yes. You can use points to book travel for someone else. The great news is for flights, it's super easy. You just book your flight as you would normally and put whoever you want in as the passenger. It does not matter if you are not traveling with them. You don't have to do anything special. Just put their name and you both are good to go.
Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Upgraded Points Podcast.
And I'm Katie, and today we are talking about Premium Economy, a brand new Delta Sky Club in Atlanta, and we're going to take some of your listener questions. So let's get right into it. Chris, we talk in the Miles and Points community all the time about business class, and flying business class is amazing. But for many reasons, it doesn't always work. It's not the best option for some people, and that brings us to Premium Economy. Have you ever flown Premium Economy? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so I actually just flew for the first time in years. I just flew from Miami to Rio in American Airlines Premium Economy, and it was great. I was going to fly economy, and it was slightly more for premium economy. And I know that it's a better product. You've written about it many times. I've
Mhm.
flown it, but it's been a while, um, and it was just a really good experience. I have Platinum Pro with American Airlines, so when I got to Miami, I went right to the flagship lounge, and then premium economy boarded. I was in Group 2, so I got right on the plane. But the seats are really nice. They're set up in the 242 on American Airlines 777, and just the whole experience was much more comfortable than American Airlines economy. And from the seat to the food to the service, everything was just a little bit better, but it was just a fraction of the cost of business class.
How long is that flight from Rio to Miami?
So that's 8 hours. I think they block it a little bit
Okay.
more, but that's not bad. I mean, I'm used to it. It's an overnight flight, but usually when we fly up to New York or from Sao Paulo to New York or even Sao Paulo to Boston, those are like the stretched out ones that can go 9, 10 hours. But yeah, Rio to Miami, Miami to Rio, overnight, 8 hours. You get a little bit of sleep. It's really not bad. You don't lose any daylight. So in premium economy, it doesn't lay fully flat, but it does lay down more. You got more space next to you. And there's unless you're sitting in the four in the middle, you're not going to be stuck in a middle seat. So it's just a nice product. It comes with a little amenity kit, nicer blankets, nicer pillows. The meal, I may be wrong when I say this, but I believe it's the business class meal as well. So the food is just it is better, and so it's just a nice experience.
I totally agree. I've flown AA Premium Economy home from Europe a couple years ago. And then last year, I flew KLM Premium Economy home from Europe. And I love it when either business class is just too expensive, you can't find those saver level awards, or if you're flying with a bigger group, sometimes it's easier to find three, four tickets together in Premium Economy. And, for that length of flight for, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, it's so much more comfortable than economy, but like you said, it's generally not that much more in price. I think it's 100% worth it in the right circumstance. I mean, I don't think I'd fly premium economy to the Maldives, but an 8-hour flight or coming home from Europe, I'll do it all day long. We're doing it this summer actually. We are doing a cruise around Ireland, and we have to fly to and from London. So I booked Virgin Atlantic Premium Economy home, which I'm excited to try. It was the price in points was 27,500 plus $550 in taxes. I was able to get a 40% transfer bonus, so I ended up only paying 19,000 and change points per ticket.
Nice.
Yes, 550 is a solid amount for taxes and fees, and I know there are some people who are gasping right now that I would even pay that, but less than 20,000 points is so close to nothing that I kinda look at it as
Yeah.
I'm paying $550 for a premium economy ticket home from Europe. I was able to find 4 of them. My mom's flying with us home, so it was a great deal. I'm excited to try that product. It's a really, really nice, and I think it's a really nice middle ground between economy, which is super uncomfortable on a long flight, but can be very cheap, and business class, which is super comfortable but can be very expensive. And it's just that nice middle ground that I think works for a lot of situations.
Yeah, when these airlines started rolling out premium economy, at first I think we're all little scared, kind of expecting, oh, geez, what's this going to be? But it's turned out to be a pretty popular product with a lot of people, and it fits that kind of sweet spot there where maybe you don't want to spend or don't have the miles for business class, or just can't find it. Like you mentioned,
Mhm.
it's business class can be hard to find lately. So yeah, it's premium economy can be a great deal, and we've been actually kind of avoiding it because I fly as a family of four a lot, and I have two young kids. And premium economy, the armrests don't go up.
Mm.
And so when we book for economy seats, we're already planning, okay, those armrests are going up, and we're going to have kids laying across our
Mhm.
lap. So for a long time, the premium economy's never really been an option. So when I fly solo, it's nice to grab those. But now that the kids are getting a little bit bigger and they don't really fit when we lay them across our laps anymore, this may be a nice option moving forward for us.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed, I'm super short, so, like, I love the little
You
foot
can lay across the
well,
lap.
yeah, but I love the little footrests in premium economy, but what I've discovered is if you're in the bulkhead row of premium economy, it is a more of a recliner type seat that has the little foot part that comes up from the seat,
Yeah.
and as a very short person, I found that way more comfortable, so I think kids would find that way
Mm.
more comfortable too, because they don't have the little legs that can barely reach the footrest, which is the situation that I'm in too.
So
So book that premium or the bulkhead row of premium economy. I really liked it. Now, on the flip side, my husband is super tall, and he did not like it as much. But the footrest doesn't work for him regardless because his legs are too long. So if you're short or if you're
yeah.
traveling with kids, that bulkhead row is really great in premium economy.
So I had read good things about that front row, and so for my flight, there were two seats available. I had what I ended up choosing was, there's three rows, so I was in the middle row against the window, and so I had the regular footrests. But I saw there was a middle seat in that bulkhead row, and I was like, I don't want to pay premium economy and then still sit in the middle seat. But I had heard good things about the footrest. In for you, Katie, what would you have done? Would you have taken the middle seat?
Between two strangers?
Between two
No,
strangers.
no.
Okay. So I made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I was
It's not that
we
good.
were we when we did the bulkhead, we were in the center section of 4, which I still didn't love, but I made my husband sit next to the stranger, but it was totally fine. I would yeah, if I had the choice between that middle seat in the bulkhead or a window, I think I'd still take the window.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Well, let's move on. Speaking of flights and maybe domestic flights or even abroad, you were just in Atlanta for the new Delta Sky Club opening. You want to tell us a little bit about
I
that?
was, yeah. So I just visited Atlanta for the day to visit the brand new Delta Sky Club. It's in Concourse D. And this is the first completely brand new Sky Club in Atlanta in like 9 years. So
Wow.
this is a big deal. And it
Hmm.
is a gorgeous space. It's the second largest Sky Club in Atlanta, but by volume, it's the biggest. So it seats over 500 passengers.
Oh
It's
my
a
God.
huge I know, it's big. It's a big space, you walk in, and it's kind of a rectangle space, and on both sides is just not quite floor, but, half going halfway up, all the way up, these super high ceilings, windows. So you have tons of natural light. It's decorated to make you feel like you're walking into a really fancy Georgia home instead of an airport lounge. There's coffered ceilings, there's shutters, there's artwork everywhere. A lot of it is by local Atlanta artists. One of the pieces that I just thought was stunning was it's kind of hidden. You have to know where to look for it. So if you're entering the lounge, you can take the elevator or you can take the stairs up. If you take the stairs, you look up and it's sort of a big marble wall with these three huge murals going up the wall vertically. They're big squares painted with dogwoods and magnolias. Just a slight bit abstract, and they're just stunning. So that's one thing you should definitely look, but there's artwork all throughout the lounge that's just really, really nice. You can tell they've put a lot of thought into this particular lounge. There's, like I said, over 500 seats. There's work tables if you're traveling on business and you need to get some work done. There's that. In the corner, there were soundproof booths, kind of like telephone booths. I think there were 7 of them maybe total, 6 or 7. So those are great if you need to take a call or something, and one of them was ADA compliant, which was a nice touch. There's armchair type seating, sort of couch seating, there's dining tables. So whatever kind of, vibe you're looking for, they have it.
Mm.
At the center of the lounge is a huge bar. They serve
Okay, that's where I was getting to next.
Yes, there is a bar. 16 seats, I think, is what is, at the bar. They serve complimentary beer, wine, and cocktails, and then there is a premium menu that you can purchase cocktails and beer and fancy wines and stuff with miles or with cash. I did not look at the value of the miles versus the cash, but I'm guessing it's probably not a good deal. Um,
Not great.
so I'd probably
There
just
was one.
go ahead.
I think there are some above the curve kind of redemptions there. I think at one point I bought like a glass of Whistle Pig whiskey, which is a pretty expensive whiskey, and I forget exactly how many miles. But at the time, I was like, oh, that's not a bad deal. So that's why I got a drink of that. But yeah, it's generally not the best idea.
Oh, yeah, so I don't know, maybe no, maybe check it out. It might be a deal in there.
Maybe for some of the high end stuff, could be worth it.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't look, but, if you're there and you find a great deal on points, let us know.
All right.
So in addition
How
to
about food?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
that's okay. There's a huge buffet at the back of the lounge, and they were telling me that the way they design this, it's one long buffet, but they kinda meet in the middle, and it's the same thing on both sides, and they did that specifically to help the flow of traffic, to make it because
Mm.
it is a huge lounge, but they wanted to make sure it didn't feel crowded and congested at the buffet. So I thought that was a nice touch, and there's a gorgeous tile mural behind the buffet that you should look at, and look at it from far away. It looks kind of like vines hanging down. It's really, really cool. The food was really great. I tried a few things, a really good chocolate croissant. There was like a pasta salad I tried. I had a chia pudding with fruit on it, so that was really nice. And there are 2 separate beverage stations, really big beverage stations, actually. They had, juices, Starbucks coffee, and then they also had coffee machines if you wanted a cappuccino or a latte, a soda machine, and then a flavored water machine. So I think you could do sparkling or still with all kinds of different fruit flavors. So that was a nice touch, and those were kind of on either side of the lounge, again, to kind of, make sure there's, plenty of space between people as they're walking so it doesn't feel too crowded.
But I was going to mention that the idea of the buffet and the meeting and trying to keep it from making sure it's the same on both sides. That's good, not just because of the feeling too crowded, but also as a passenger, if you're like, oh geez, I have to wonder what's on the other side. So you go to fill up your plate, and then you're wondering you got to go fill up on the other side. No, if it's all the same, then you can just work whatever's closest to you.
Yeah, although I guess I don't know how I would know it was the same until I went and checked out the other side.
Mm,
So first
I guess.
timers might be doing a little back and forth, but once you're there once and
All right.
you can find your seat, you can go to your side of the buffet, and everything will be great. But it was a
Well,
gorgeous
that makes
space.
sense.
I kind of want to fly Delta more to try it out again. And actually, that
Mm.
leads us to the question of how to access Delta Sky Club. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and chat about how you can get in to try this Delta Sky Club. Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about how you can access Delta Sky Clubs. Chris, what is maybe the easiest way to get into a Delta Sky Club?
The easiest way is probably with your Platinum card from American Express. Many readers and listeners probably already have this card in their wallet. This card will get you 10 visits per year, per medallion year, into Delta Sky Clubs. So that's a good option. If maybe you're not flying Delta every week, you don't need to be in the lounge every single time you're at the airport. That's a good option. Get 10 options. The same thing goes for the Business Platinum card by American Express. That'll get you 10 visits per medallion year as well. If you're going to be flying Delta a little bit more and you know you're going to want some more visits, you could get the Delta Sky Miles Reserve card that comes with 15 visits per year. Same thing with the business version of that. That's going to be the easiest way to get in.
And Chris, don't those
Uh,
visits count as sort of a for a day? So, like, if you're flying through somewhere, you can go to a Delta Sky Club at your home airport. If you have a Delta Sky Club at your connection, you can go there, and that only counts as one visit. Isn't that correct?
I want to say yes. I remember when they made some
Yeah, I
changes,
think it
they
is. I
removed
think it
that.
is.
They walked that
Yeah,
back. Okay.
I'm like 99% sure that's the case.
All right. So we have all this all on upgradedpoints.com,
Yeah,
but
we'll link to our
I guess we
article.
didn't memorize it all.
Whoops.
um, all right, Katie, besides credit cards, are there any other ways people can get in?
Yeah, definitely. So if you are flying Delta One, which is their signature business class product, you will have access to Delta Sky Clubs. Also, if you are a diamond, a platinum, or a gold member flying in Delta One or Premium Select, which is their premium economy product internationally, you can get access. And it's not quite as simple as that. There are some caveats. I think the Caribbean does not count as international, unfortunately, and there are a few just weird little rules that you need to look at. But we will link to our article where we spell everything out. But if you are in that premium economy, flying internationally or in Delta One as a medallion member, a gold, platinum, or diamond medallion member, or if you're flying Delta One anywhere, you will get access. Is there anywhere else, any way
Okay.
else to get access, Chris?
Yes, there is. You could actually buy your way in if you don't have status, if you're not flying business class, and if you don't have any of these big fancy credit cards in your wallet, you can buy your way in. Delta right now sells two versions of their Delta Sky Club membership. The first one is an eye-watering $695 or 69,500
Oh, jeez.
miles. So that is, correct me if I'm wrong, the exact price of an annual fee for an Amex Platinum card.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it almost makes no sense to buy membership if you can just get a I mean,
I
I guess a
guess if you
membership gets you
had,
on, more visits, but I think for most people, getting that platinum card is going to be a much better option.
yeah, unless you had so many Sky Miles that you could just drop 70,000
Mm.
and not really care, that may work. So that one allows you to bring up to two guests for a fee
Mhm.
per year.
Doesn't even include free
Um,
guests. Oh,
no.
that's disappointing.
Or if that's not good enough for you, you could get their executive membership, which you thought 695 was expensive, $1,495 or 149,500
No,
miles.
thank you.
And that includes, yeah, if you have so many miles you want to just toss them, that gets you unlimited access for the member and two
Ooh,
guests.
wow.
So
I mean,
there you go. I mean, you could start to make a little bit more sense now if you're flying with three people all the time and no one in your group has a platinum card or a Delta card. So those are other ways to get into the lounge if you didn't have any of the above listed options.
oh man. I mean, I guess there's probably some people that would make sense for. Obviously, it's an option, so some people are buying it. I mean, maybe if you are traveling for work a lot and you can get work to pay for it, that would be great.
Yeah, I
But I
guess.
think for most people, that's probably not a realistic option. Get a platinum card, or if you fly Delta a lot, get a Delta Reserve card, and you should be good to go.
When you were there for this opening, I was thinking about Atlanta. It is the world's largest airport, busiest airport. But the lounge game is relatively weak. Before this year or last year, there was no Centurion Lounge, which
Mhm.
just opened recently. And then you said it was 9 years since the last time Delta opened up a Sky Club,
Since they opened a brand new one. I think they've done
a
some
brand new one.
refurbishments over the last 9 years,
Okay.
and actually, they are refurbishing the lounges, I think in Concourse A and C this year, and the whole concourse of D is getting expanded as well. So the Sky Clubs in, I believe, A and C are getting refreshed. But yeah, this is the first brand new one in 9 years. So it's been a long time in the making. It does line up with Delta's 100-year anniversary. So I don't know if they were waiting
Mm,
and planning to do it this year. But it is I think, a much needed, valuable addition to the Atlanta airport, which makes it a little easier to fly through.
right. So, I mean, obviously, Delta, that's a Delta hub. So you're going to have plenty of Sky Clubs there. There are some other options. if you don't have access to these sky clubs, which we've realized are pretty hard to get into. So, like I mentioned, there is the Centurion
Mhm.
Lounge, which, if you have that Amex Platinum that we talked about earlier, that's a great way to get in. There are also some basic Priority Pass lounges. So, I had an unexpected long layover in Atlanta. We had an overnight flight that was canceled,
Oh.
and having ended up having to stay in the airport
Oh.
overnight because there were no hotels available. So they have Priority Pass has minute suites in almost every
Mhm.
terminal, and with your Priority Pass, you get 1 hour for free. So I ended up just going. Well, I went to the first one, and it was already full of passengers for my flight. And then I hopped on the train and went to another terminal and grabbed the minute suites there, got the 1 hour free, and then just paid for the rest
How much is
because I
that to
needed.
pay for it? I've only ever done the free hour.
Yeah, I don't it is a discounted rate. I wanna say somewhere around $30 an hour, something like that.
Okay.
So I ended up paying, I forget how many, but like 4 extra hours. And then Delta reimbursed me for that because they couldn't
Mhm.
provide us with a hotel. Um, so that's an option for a priority pass. There is also the club at ATL. That's where I ended up going. I slept in the lounge until 6 a.m. That's when I knew the club opened. Then I walked over to the club and swiped my priority pass again and went and had breakfast there.
That club is
So
pretty medium.
yeah,
It's
it was not good. But after laying in in what's it called, the minute
Mhm.
suites for 5 hours, it was just I was ready to get out of
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
It's a nice option, but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
by no
absolutely. Yeah,
means it's no
absolutely.
5-star
No.
hotel.
Well, and especially compared to some of the other, the Delta Sky Clubs or the Centurion in Atlanta, that club at ATL is I mean, if
Yeah.
that's your only option, it's great to get some free food and a drink, and they did actually I was there last summer, and they had peach jelly bellies, which I thought was a nice
Ooh,
touch. Um, but yeah,
little Georgia
that's
peach.
really all it has going for it, but,
Yeah. So I mean, our flight got canceled at midnight, and they gave us food vouchers, but everything
yeah,
in the
that's
airport
tough.
was closed. By the time the club opened up at 6 a.m., it was like an oasis.
Yeah.
It was it was nice, but it was bad. I know.
That was a pretty smart move, though, to think of the, minute suites for a sort of an overnight.
Yeah,
That's a pro move.
it was a pro move. I mean, after standing there in line for an hour, I was like, "There's got to be a better way," and I just opened up my Priority Pass app, and there it was.
Nice.
It was a little oasis in my
Yeah,
hand.
awesome. Well, let's jump into some questions. We have questions from some listeners, so let's get into that.
Here's one from our email from John. John asks, "Can I use points to book travel for someone else?" Katie, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, the short answer is yes. You can use points to book travel for someone else. The great news is for flights, it's super easy. You just book your flight as you would normally and put whoever you want in as the passenger. It does not matter if you are not traveling with them. You don't have to do anything special. Just put their name and you both are good to go. With hotels, it does require a little bit more thought. So there's a couple ways you can do it. First, you can always just add your friend as the second guest on the reservation and hope that the hotel front desk doesn't give you too much trouble when they're checking in without you. Most of the time, it's probably going to be fine, but some front desks agents might give you a hard time if the main person is not checking in um, right away. So that's an option. But each hotel program has kind of laid out what the official way to do that is. For Marriott, you must call. You can use your points to book a room for a friend, but not free night certificates. So if you have points and you want to book her a friend, you just need to call Marriott and they will get that done for you. For Hyatt, you can call to book with points, or if you have a free night certificate in your account that you want to book for a friend with, you can easily transfer that to them online.
Oh, that's such a nice feature.
They've made it so much easier with globalist guest of honors and the free nights. It's so easy now just to transfer those. So that's a great way just to do it without having to talk to anyone. IHG specifically says that you can right online just book the room and add the guest as that second person on the reservation. and there should be no problem. They can go and check in without issue. And Hilton, the easiest way to do it with Hilton is really transfer your points to your friend. They have the points pooling feature, so you can just transfer your points, transfer your points to them, and they can book the room with your points. Easy peasy. I've never used it. Have you used that? I've heard it's really easy though.
Yeah, my wife and I each have the Hilton Aspire cards. We're earning Hilton points all the time, and then we can just put them in the pool and then book something of larger value. Say if I don't have enough
Mhm.
points, I'll transfer them to her account, and then we'll just book from there. Well, from the pool, and then there. Yeah, it's a really nice
So do
feature.
you like
Everything online.
you leave your points in the pool and then whoever needs to book just pulls them out of the pool into their account, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to I'll have to
I
log in and
just
double
sprung that
check. I
one on
know.
you, sorry.
I want to say like there's a head, and then the head will always have access to all of those points, whether they're in the pool or
Gotcha.
not. I mean, well, when they're in the pool. Once you transfer them in the pool, I don't believe you can take them back out. So if I put in 100,000 points, now my wife has access to those points. We've got a whole write up on that on upgraded points, but it is very simple. I remember doing it once and not really having too much trouble with it at all.
Awesome, awesome. Great. Okay, next question. This one is, what is the difference between transferable points and fixed value points? And this is one I get a lot when you start talking about transferable points, and someone who's new to the points and miles game is kind of like, What? What is that?" And it's actually a lot
Yeah.
simpler than it sounds. You want to explain it to us first?
It is, yeah. It is simple once you get your head around it. But for beginners, it's a super common question because everyone just thinks, okay, I have these points that I can use them wherever I want. Not necessarily. So a flexible point is a point that you're earning with a bank directly, whether that's American Express, Citi, Capital One, any of these banks where you're earning their currency, and they have transfer partners. So you can take those points, say 100,000 points, for example, and then you could transfer them to United, for example. If I was earning points on a United credit card, those points are only stuck with United. I can't use those anywhere else. Yes, I could go onto united.com and maybe book a partner airline like ANA or Turkish or something like that, but they would have to be on united.com. So that we recommend people to get a card with flexible points because you don't know when or where that deal is going to be, where your next trip's going to be. So generally, having these flexible points is a great place to start. Then once you start getting more comfortable with different programs, you can say, hey, you know what? I've been flying American Airlines a lot, or I've been using American Airlines partners a lot. I really value them, but they don't have any transfer partners. I'm going to open up an American Airlines credit card, only earn American Airlines points because I know how to use them. That's kind of like intermediate to expert level if you're not already a loyal American a traveler. So those are the big that's a very broad overview. But if you're new to the game or points and miles, stick to flexible points. That way, when a deal comes up, then you can transfer your points where they need to go, and you're not really going to be stuck with all these points and not know how to use them.
Absolutely. Transferable points are where it's at. Even now, 10 years plus into the game, transferable points is still what I focus on, even if I do have,
Yeah,
the American Airlines card or the Hyatt card or whatever. Transferable points is where it's at.
same here.
Well, that is it for us this week. If you like the show, please subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have questions or comments for this show, you can email us at podcast@upgradedpoints.com. We'll see you next time.